Welcome into the Nashville Game Changers podcast. I'm your host, Jill Jelnick. Well, we take high school football very seriously here in Middle Tennessee. And now that it's officially high school football season, thought this would be a good time to bring in one of the most respected, well-known, very successful high school football coaches in our area, the head coach of Nashville Christian School. Welcome in Jeff Brothers to the show. Coach, thanks so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us.
This is a busy time. Thanks for inviting me. I'm honored, obviously, and thrilled to be sitting here with you doing this. I told you earlier, it's my first ever podcast. So
yeah, which I can't believe that. How is that possible?
I don't know, but I like it. And
good.
I appreciate all the kind words. You didn't say old. That's what
I
all
did
that
not
filters into.
No,
I've been doing this a long time. So that's how all those things add up, I guess.
When we talk about how long you've been at Nashville Christian and just coaching in Middle Tennessee, we call it veteran status, right? What
veteran
year?
Status, that's kind.
Yes. What year is this for you?
32 overall,
Wow.
16 at Nashville Christian.
Okay, safe to say you've learned a thing or two over your
Learned
32 years?
a thing or two and seen a lot of change. So it's been fun to be in my hometown doing it my whole life. Been a part of football of some version for the last, I guess, 46 years here in Nashville.
Wow, and it started with Brentwood Academy.
Yeah, well, I mean, it started
right?
obviously. I think Little League football started playing when I was 8, and then high school went to Brentwood Academy there, and had some good success, made some great friends, and have great relationships there. Then played at Vanderbilt, so again locally here, and that was a lot of fun to be the hometown guy. It was fun. When I was in middle school and first started Brentwood Academy, I was selling programs on the concourse at Vanderbilt Stadium. And then I got to be a ball boy for on the sidelines my freshman, sophomore, junior year of high school, and then got to play there for 4 years, with the redshirt year, and then back coaching at Brentwood Academy and some other places along the way, and still here, still doing it. So it's exciting.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you also at one point played quarterback for Vanderbilt
did.
one year, right? Before you made the switch over to safety.
I did. I signed as a quarterback. I played quarterback in high school and signed as a quarterback with Watson Brown at Vanderbilt. And was going down that trail and thought that was going to be the path, and wound up my sophomore year starting the first 3 games, played in 4 of the first 5. And honestly, that's part of my testimony. And the thing I tell my guys, I wasn't ready. I didn't play well enough for us to win enough games, to have enough success to keep my job. And so I lost a job as a starting quarterback at Vanderbilt and in the SEC. And I think a lot of people see the fame and the glamour and all the stuff about playing college football. And there's also some hardships and struggles and things you have to overcome. And you find out a lot about yourself. And you have to kind of dig deep and figure out what to do. And so I stuck through that sophomore year as the backup quarterback. And then in the spring going into my junior year, our defensive back coach, Ron Case, came up and asked if I'd be interested in playing free safety. And I said, sure, if it means I'm on the field, I'm happy to do whatever. And he also happened to be in charge of punt return. So he asked me if I would return punts. So I started doing that. And both of those things worked out very well, and had 2 good years playing safety and returning punts there. And then I guess maybe it was the emergency quarterback somewhere down the line.
Yes, always need one of those, especially in the SEC.
Sure.
But I imagine that flipping over to the other side of the ball also kind of helped your overall knowledge of the sport, which in turn probably helped you down the line as a coach.
Probably. I mean, you learn how to attack and dismantle, the schemes on the other side. And when you're a quarterback, you learn about coverage, you learn about blitz pickup and protection and things like that, and how the run game sets up the passing game, or vice versa if you're in Steve Spurrier offense. But then when you flip over to defense, you just do the opposite. Based on where their alignments are and what their tendencies are and formations and personnel groups, how do you set your defense, and what do you do about attacking, in a pass rush scenario and 4th down and red zone. And so I did get to learn both of those things from a global position. A quarterback, kind of what everybody does, and really at free, you kind of know what everybody does because you know how everything fits together. And then going back into coaching afterward, I didn't think I was going to be a coach. I never planned that when I was in college. That's another story. But my high school coach, Carlton Fladd, who's one of the greatest coaches ever in the history of high school football in Tennessee, probably anywhere. He asked me after I was finished, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm doing a marketing job, just kind of trying to figure out what's next." And he said, "You need to coach." And so he gave me a job, and I started coaching, and 32 years later, here we go.
That was your game-changing moment?
That was the game-changing moment when he kind of looked me straight in the eye and said, "You need to coach." And most of the times he told me what to do, I tried to do it, and it worked out. So it's been good. I owe a lot to him.
What was the biggest thing you learned from Coach Flatt?
Just how how to take a group of guys and develop and I always thought he got the most out of his players. Kind of not only what they were capable of, but beyond what they thought they were capable of, both from a toughness standpoint, a skill standpoint, a togetherness, and a team standpoint. He always seemed to take the pieces and the whole was greater than the sum of the parts. And so I think taking those lessons from him and applying them along the way, it's really just trying to rinse and repeat everything I learned from him.
Which getting an entire group of players to reach their highest potential, easier said than done.
Especially with high school boys. They're trying to figure out a lot of things at the same time, football being one of them. And it's great. I enjoy it. Get to be a part of their lives. It's such an important, impactful part of their lives. And to watch them grow, it's kind of like, I tell people I have 2 daughters who I love more than any of the boys. But I tell people I have 2 daughters and 60 sons, so that's the way it goes. For high school coaches all over the country, really.
Speaking of highest potential, last year, going back to the 2024 season, you guys, Nashville Christian, coming off one of its best seasons in program history, brought home your second ever state title, won the Division II Single A state championship in Chattanooga over Columbia Academy. I was there. I watched it. It was as magical as anyone could ever dream.
It was good.
What a special team.
Yeah, a great moment for those boys. And I've been blessed along the way. I've been a part of some championships, both as a player and as an assistant coach, and now as a head coach. And seeing it from those different angles, as a player, it's the things you're working for. It's your buddies that you grow up with. It's the guys you have in the hallways and over at your house and that you're running around with, when it's not football practice. And to accomplish that together with a team has its own special feeling. And then to be a coach who's contributing to that success and to their experience and to their memories. And you can see it sort of from a fatherly standpoint of you're glad to see your guys be able to achieve those things and experience those things you remember from when you were young. And it's really fun to stand back at the end of that and just watch the celebration and watch everybody having a good time. And obviously very rewarding as a coach that you were able to put the pieces together and get everything right to make that happen, because it takes a lot. It's a difficult thing to do.
Going back to the regular season of last year, was there a game-changing moment for you guys where you either turned a corner or you felt it?
Yeah, well, believe it or not, it was in the only loss that we had last year. So we started out against one of our great rivals, Davidson Academy, who we always enjoy playing, and Coach Quinn does a great job out there with those guys, and we're playing them again to open this season. It's kind of just a thing that has become our normal season opener, and it's a rivalry, and it's fun, and it's intense, and we were able to get that one done last year, and then we go to BGA, the second game, and BJ's got a good team, and they got us by a touchdown. And we came up short. We had the ball at the end, driving to have a chance to tie the game, came up a little short. And I felt like the way we competed in that game and the way we, from behind, the way we just kept fighting and kept playing as assertively as we did and fought back into it and never gave up. And I just kind of saw the competitive fight and spirit that our guys had. I thought, it's going to be difficult for people to contend with us over time if we can just keep this up. And then every week in practice, we practiced really, really well last year. And we have tough Tuesdays, so it's best on Tuesdays, kind of full go. And a lot of times those Tuesdays were the hardest games we played throughout the week. And so you just know you have a feel going into Friday how much work they've put in and how prepared you feel like they are. And if they can just execute what they've prepared to execute, then it takes care of itself. And that's kind of what happened as we went along last year. But that BGA loss really solidified, like, we've got a fighting group of guys, and that was good to know.
Early in the season too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I loved what you said about practice. You guys were your biggest competitors during practice, and tough Tuesday.
Tough Tuesday.
Love that. Love some good alliteration.
Yeah.
But you hear coaches talk about how important it is to be able to compete and try to reach your highest potential in practice, right? Because then it has to carry over in the game. How were you able to get this certain group of players to do that? What you said is sometimes so difficult to do, reach that highest potential.
Well, I think a lot of it is a great compliment to the players themselves. You have to be self-motivated. I tell our guys all the time, I can make you do something, but if I have to make you do it, then you're not motivated to do it. If you want to do it, if you care, then I wouldn't have to make you do it. And I can't make you care. If you care, then you'll do it without me pushing so hard. And then these guys just love to compete. If we threw a bunch of hula hoops out there, they'd be fighting to see who could do it the longest. That's just I think it's something our program has sort of just developed over time. That competitive gene is kind of in the DNA of our program, and that Tough Tuesdays is a big deal, and it matters that they compete against each other well, so that they know that they have that brotherhood by the time they get to Friday night. That's the 5th time we've played that game that week, and they know the plan. They know what's expected of them. They know that we're going to have to make adjustments. You have plan A going into a game. You usually wind up executing plan C because things change. But they prepare well for that. And that's, like I said, a great compliment to our assistant coaches who prepare them, both in their individual position groups and also as a team. And then the players themselves to go out and play with great spirit and great competitive zeal, I guess is the word. And then we have talented guys, and that helps too. I'm a lot better coach when I have better players.
Stay with us. You're listening to the Nashville Game Changers podcast with Nashville Christian head football coach Jeff Brothers. We'll be right back after this. Coach, in 2024, you had an amazing group of juniors that are now coming back for their senior class. One of them, arguably one of the leaders of this new team this year, happens to be the top quarterback in the state, ranked by many power rankings all throughout the country, Jared Curtis. Georgia commit, senior this year. He was the MVP of the state championship last year, also Mr. Football. The list goes on and on. But you've had a front row seat to his journey at Nashville Christian. And a lot of people don't realize Jared's been with you since the very beginning.
Since middle school. And first of all, Jared's a great young man and great family. And to have, and you mentioned some of the accolades, and there is a pages long list of the things he's accomplished and been awarded with, and deserves every one of them. But the best thing about Jared is just the kind of kid he is. If you were walking the halls of Nashville Christian School, other than the 6'4", 225-pound guy that's walking down the hall, he's just another guy. He's still got the same friends he had from before. He hasn't dropped off any of those guys. He hasn't picked up any new friends he doesn't need. He's stuck with Nashville Christian when a lot of people in the world were telling him he needed to be somewhere else. And that's a tribute to him and his upbringing, his family. He's a family and a relationship guy. And I have been blessed to see that evolution, I guess you would say. He was a running back when he first came to Nashville Christian. And so when you see him run the ball, and you saw him in that regular season game at Columbia Academy, y'all did, he likes to run the football.
He's good at running the football.
He likes to lower a shoulder. And that just, brings up the confidence and the spirit of the rest of the team to see him do things like that. And he's really developed. He's arguably, and we have a lot of talented guys, but he's arguably our most talented guy, certainly our most awarded and celebrated guy. He's also one of our hardest workers, if not our hardest worker. And he always wants to come to the facility and watch film or get some extra board work or learn some new things about coverage. And like we talked about earlier, coverage and protections and schemes. And he's always trying to advance and develop his skill set. And early on, you could see the talent level was there, but you could see he needed to grow and mature just in his understanding. And he knew that. He recognized that. He had the maturity to recognize I'm not a finished product. And even though I'm getting all these things, there's more to do and more to learn. And the way he goes about that, I think, motivates his teammates. And he's become a great leader, not just a great talent, but a great leader for our football program.
When it comes to his skill set as a quarterback, where have you seen him improve the most since middle school?
Yeah, well, he really works hard at his mechanics. And and a lot of people wrongly assume you can teach anybody how to throw a football. You kind of just come out of the womb. You can throw it or you can't. You just have the natural release. You have the natural mechanics, the natural onslaught, the natural touch, the spin. And a lot of people can throw a football. And so what you wind up doing is just honing those skills and kind of fine tuning some things. But what you have in a guy like Jared and guys that make it a long way in the sport at his position is just this gift of the way the ball comes out of his hand. Kind of like a kicker. You can listen to a kicker kick, and you can tell the ones that can hit it because it just sounds different coming off their foot. And believe it or not, the ball sounds different coming out of his hand. And just his natural throwing motion was there. So what did he have to work on? He had to work on some footwork things and also just again, just the decision-making process. Like he believes, and rightfully so, he believes he can throw it through a keyhole at 30 yards with 3 defenders draped on the receiver, and he probably can. And, then you wind up just saying, okay, we'll get back in the huddle. Here we go. But you want to fuss about the decision he made, and it's hard to do because we just got a first down. But he's really worked on it. He knows that at the next level and as he continues to climb, that decision-making is an important part of the process. It's not just the ability to throw a ball into tight spots or to deliver it on time or with the right touch. He can do all that. That's something that we do work on it because we have routines and practices, but what we really have emphasized to him and he's taken a hold of is just that decision-making process. And so over time, you've watched that. His freshman year, I told the college coaches that were recruiting him, he started the second half of the first game of his freshman year is when we put him in, and he's been the guy ever since. And in that freshman year, it was remember the snap count, go play football.
Keep it simple.
Right. And then the sophomore year, it was remember the snap count, have a plan before you snap it, and then go play football. And then going into his junior year last year, it was understand coverage, remember the snap count, go play football. And so this year we've worked a lot more on protections and how run games fit into pass schemes and how coverages can adjust based on what they see. And that's really just the intellectual part of the game. It's been fun to watch him really press into that.
And now he's committed to Georgia, obviously still has one more year with you guys. But I imagine the conversations maybe you had with some of the Georgia coaching staff, a lot to talk about there. But overall, you knew selling him was not going to be very, very hard to do. No,
it was really, they were asking what they could do to differentiate themselves from everybody else in regards to recruiting him. And the great thing about college football and those coaches, they still depend on and trust the high school guys who have been with them, from those early ages and watched them grow. And I've been able to been blessed over, not just with Jared, but we've had several guys that have gone on to play what I guess you call now Power 4 football and even all the way down to NAIA football, just to meet some great guys, great coaches, guys who love football, who love being a part of the development of these young men. And those relationships are special. And so when they come in, fortunately, I've known some of them over the years, and then the new ones that you meet, it's all the same thing. Like what can we share to help each other be successful? So they might give us some things that they feel like can help us or help me with Jared, like, hey, you might want to talk to him about this. I watched this film and noticed this. Some schemes, sit down and get on a board and just say, show me what you like in the red zone and, those kind of things. And then for Jared, it's, hey, how can we develop this relationship? Because when they ask, what's he about? Well, the first thing I tell him, he's about relationship. The stronger the relationship, the more he's willing to give. And he's competitive and he wants to win and all that. But when he's on your side, he's going to fight to the death, and so they're trying to figure out how to dig into those relationships. And so the ones who developed those relationships early and stayed with that relationship over the course of time, those are the ones he kind of honed in on, so you could look at those last 5 that he kind of whittled it down to, because the list was all 300 and whatever teams around the country. So
everybody, yes.
We had NAIA teams saying, hey, if he changes his mind, he can come play for us, So, but it was who had those relationships. Who did he feel like he could go play for that off the field he could also go and enjoy a conversation with and talk about life with. And I think Coach Bobo and those guys did a good job at Georgia. Not that the other guys at the other schools didn't. They were great men as well. But he had to make a choice. And he struggled with it. He wasn't really sure, because when you're an 18, 19-year-old kid and you're making what you think is a life decision, it is a life decision, but you think it's the last big decision I'll ever make and it's the most important. And it's not, because there are a lot of things, as we know, that come along as years go by. But at that time, that's it. And he struggled with just the finality of that decision and how do I make that and not look back. And he's done a great job with it. The other thing about him, Jared, that I'll say, and it trickles down to all our other, we have several other players that have opportunities beyond high school. And you never hear about it at practice. You never hear about it in the hallway. I mean, it's all about Nashville Christian School. Like, you got to be a great player here before you have an opportunity there. And these are the special moments, and these are the special guys. And anybody who's played beyond will tell you, those high school Friday night lights can't be replicated no matter how high what a level you play. And this group has done a great job, I think, largely because of his leadership of really focusing on these Friday night lights and making it special. Well,
and also you have to give yourself some credit as well, testament to the culture you've created at Nashville Christian over your X amount of years.
Thank you. Yes. We've been blessed. And there's the quote that says, if it seems I could see for miles, it's only because I stood on the shoulders of giants. And certainly Coach Flatt, who I mentioned earlier before, and David Pack, who I worked with, and all the people along the way who have helped me. I'm really, there are no original thoughts either, so I'm just really doing the things that I found along the way I believe would work. And I've got tremendous assistant coaches that help us build this program, and a phenomenal administration at Nashville Christian. Obviously we're a school of faith, and I'm a person of faith, and I believe God put the right people in the right place at the right time, and has placed his hand on us and blessed us with all those things, and it's worked out. And we work hard, we care, we pour into our hope more than just what happens on the field, and that's created the culture of our verse is 1 Peter 2:17, which is respect everybody, love the brotherhood, fear God, and honor authority. And that brotherhood principle, they're all important, but the brotherhood principle we really focus on a lot, because a brother is something special, and I have a brother that is my best friend, and to have a brotherhood really gives you the feeling that you can go out and conquer anything, and you can endure any hardship, because the hardships are coming too. And football is just a small picture of what that really looks like, and it's gone well, and it's worked out, and we've been blessed.
I feel like you just described Friday Night Lights in a nutshell.
Yeah, I've never seen Friday Night Lights. I confess, never saw the movie, haven't seen the show.
Neither the show either.
Oh,
wow!
Other than what people have told me.
Okay, well, if there ever happens to be a time where you have a little more time on your hands, which is probably never, but if you are looking for a show,
and people have said, "Oh, I can't believe it! You should watch Friday Night." I said, "I live Friday.
Yeah,
I don't know what they do."
Wait a minute, why do I need to watch it? I'm right here.
Sometimes I'm trying to get away from the Friday Night Lights and just have a little me time.
Touche. That's fair. That's absolutely fair. You're listening to the Nashville Game Changers podcast with Nashville Christian head coach Jeff Brothers. We'll be right back after this. Obviously, last year, 2024, you guys top a Division II Single A, win the 2024 title, second in program history. You celebrate it, right? You cherish it. Yeah, oh my gosh, I bet the spring was so wonderful. And now you're getting ready for the new year. And the question is, how do you even build off of that? How do you repeat that success? Because that is always one of the biggest challenges when it comes to winning a title is okay, we set the bar.
Right. And are you content? You have to fight against the contentment of we've done it. But again, you just keep hammering home this idea of everyday competition, us against us, or we tell them a lot, you either get better or you get worse every day. You never stay the same. So that applies to a championship season as well. You're never that team again. And especially in a high school situation where guys graduate, new guys come in, schedules change, other teams have new guys coming in and graduate. So it is a moving target to win that championship. You can't aim and shoot the same way, because it's going to be a different deal. And we work hard, and we have a lot of guys coming back. You mentioned the juniors, so we have a lot of those guys coming back as seniors, and they recognize the specialness of this group that they have together. We had them over at the house the other night. My wife cooks for our seniors every Thursday night, and that's a lot of guys in our house.
Yeah, how many?
23 this year.
Oh my goodness!
We have a small house.
Your wife must be cooking up a storm.
She loves it. That's her love language. And so we had them over there, and just the volume in that house, you can just see they love being around each other, and they recognize. And I think it is because we remind them of how special this time is, how precious the locker room is, how precious Friday Night Lights are, how precious the group of guys that have come through a program are together, and that they'll never be together in that capacity again. And there's only guaranteed the 10 opportunities of the regular season. And if you play well enough and progress, there may be more. And they do give away a gold ball at the end of it. And so that's the goal. But we've got a lot of things along the way that we want to enjoy. We don't want to just skip ahead to, well, what about, what could happen at the end of the season, or what could happen in week 5 or 6 against these? I mean, we've got a precious opportunity in week 1, and we've got a precious opportunity in week 2. And then you just want to take it one by one like that. And there's a lot of unpredictables, injuries and, other, like I said, other teams that all of a sudden blow up with especially nowadays in high school football, they could have a whole different roster.
Yeah.
And, so there's a lot of challenges along the way that makes it unique, and just takes the 2024 season and sets it aside. And now we're in 2025, and it's its own entity.
You mentioned a couple of your other players besides Jared committed and looking at playing at the next level. Also a player going to TCU next year, I believe.
So TJ Ward, our tailback, has committed to TCU, and TJ last year is a great story because TJ transferred to Nashville Christian School under the old transfer rules, which is you have to sit out. And
That's right.
he knew coming in. I'll be honest, and TJ knows this. I didn't know who TJ Ward was until he showed up at his school with his family and said, we're interested in Nashville Christian School. And so you go through the normal questions. Why Nashville Christian? Where do you go to school now? And I honestly did say, where do you play now? At McGavick. Okay, well, you realize you're going to have to sit out for 12 months from the last date of participation, the old TSSAA rule. And he said, I understand. And I said, that means you only get to play now week 10 and then the playoffs. And depending on how the playoffs go, it could be 3 games, could be 4 games, but that's it for your junior season. And he said, I understand, and I'm willing to do that. I believe this is a better opportunity for me to prepare for football, to have an educational environment that will get me to where I want to be. And TJ came in and was our biggest cheerleader on the sideline. He was our best scout team player in practice. He was our most enthusiastic locker room rah-rah guy while he was ineligible. He didn't stay over there and pout and say, I was a guy who started all last year and was, he had opportunities even when he came to us, and said, he didn't say, this is about me. He said, this is about what I can give and how I can serve. And then when it got to week 10, he obviously came onto the scene for us and did a great job through that region championship game and then the playoffs. And now he's got an opportunity to go to TCU, and I think it's well-deserved, and I hope he continues to work hard. And really, again, that's great. You got one more year here, one more precious football season, your senior football season with these guys that you've become a brother to. Yeah. And let's make that special. And he's done a great job with that, as have Michael Hoskins, and he has college opportunities. Jake Morris has college opportunities. Keandre Gibson is committed to Arkansas State. He's a defensive back and a special teams guy for us. And there are a lot of guys that go on to provide themselves a thought of playing at the next level. But the great thing about this group is that they really care about this year in this group. And I think that, again, is a compliment to them and their upbringing and their families. And our school environment is very much a family environment. So, when you get ready to separate as a family, my daughters, are getting ready to go back out of the house. One went out of the house permanently. I guess she started a job. The other one's getting ready to go back to college. And that separation is hard. And so you want to make the times you're together precious. And I think that's what this football team is doing about this season.
It's so easy for us to talk about the players that are committed to play D1 or playing at the next level, right? And those are the names you see in the paper, and rightfully so. They stand out on the stat sheet. But when you look at the seniors that this might be their last time on a football field, you could make the argument they have even more at stake this season. They have so much to give because this could be their final hurrah. Yeah. And I know just from watching you coach, you are so incredible in terms of bringing everyone together and making everyone feel like a family. How do you also not only make sure that everyone is getting what they want out of this season while achieving the same goal?
Well, again, it's the contribution of a lot of people. So it's not a Jeff Brothers agenda that creates this. It's the culmination of a lot of hard work by a lot of great people that are motivated for the same thing, which is the mission and vision of our school, to be a Christian, authentic, and dynamic school that prepares kids to be global leaders and also helps them grow spiritually, intellectually, physically, and socially. So you can go through the mission and vision.
You can recite that.
But our football program has to be an extension of that mission and vision. And when it is, then everybody in the school contributes to that. Everybody's contributing to building a championship program. And it's not just the coaches or just the guys on the football team. It's just the environment, the family environment. Everybody wants to see everybody else succeed. And so when you have a guy like Jared at the top, if you have the top, and one thing I tell people is, you can't say who's the best and the least of us. We're just us. And I want, if you could measure that, I want the least of us to have the same experience, same memories, same great look back at his time at Nashville Christian as whoever could be the greatest of us. And those guys realize that and Jared does a great job of exemplifying this and modeling this for our guys. He cares that those other guys have a great experience. He cares. Like, he will come to the sideline sometimes and I'll say, Jared, why didn't you throw the flat route. I mean, clearly they dropped coverage into the deep zone and, the intermediate. And why didn't you just throw the flat route? And he said, well, because so-and-so didn't have a catch yet tonight, and I want to make sure you got a catch tonight. And okay, well, then what are you going to say to that? Don't do that. So, I think those guys that have those successes want to share those successes with everybody. And I think that's true of our administration. I think it's true of our coaching staff. A great group of guys who have had a great track record and experiences in playing college football, if they got to play college football themselves, or even their high school football experiences. And they want to, the best coaches, I think, just want to just pour that onto the next generation of guys, the guys that they're coaching. And that's what we've tried to do. And it's going all right.
It worked pretty well for you last season. Right. Yeah. Ongoing as
hopefully,
well.
Hopefully.
Yes, exactly.
Hopefully it perpetuates.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, down the line, these guys, the success that they had last year in 24 can be attributed to the guys before them that did all the hard work and came up short. And you learn from shortcoming probably more than you do from success. Yeah. And so, that group of seniors last year, their junior year, they came up short of the championship game. We lost in the semifinals. Their sophomore and freshman years, they were in the state championship game, but lost.
Yeah.
And so it's just that striving, and that's what you talked about. What do you do in 25 after you won in 24? You got to figure out how to keep striving. You got to figure out how to keep pressing forward. And I think the culture has created that. I hope we'll find out. But again, that's the down the line issue. The first issue is Davidson Academy on the 22nd, and we've got a big challenge there.
Well, we're excited for the high school football season. We're excited for your team, of course. Before we let you go, I do want to ask you, we have our In My Opinion segment where we give full range, whatever you want to talk about.
Okay.
I know we talked about a couple different things with high school football, transfer portal, but for you, what's been on your mind lately? Light a fire underneath you? What?
Well, in the athletic world lately, what's been on my mind is the trickle-down effect of all the things that are going on in sports, not just football, but in sports, where high school athletes, high school is an amateur venue, supposedly. And because things trickle down, high school athletes, in my opinion, have gotten I don't know what the right word would be, a twisted version of what amateur athletics should be for them. And you mentioned the probably 97% of college high school athletes that won't even go play college ball. Like, what is their experience like? What are they trying to get out of this? And I think, in my opinion, the social media thing, and I don't want to be the old man who says social media, but I think what it's done is created this generation of people who believe that self-promotion and through whether it's putting on your highlight tapes or doing like saying and trying to manufacture these inauthentic experiences and memories clouds what amateur sports is supposed to be, which is that family feel, that brotherhood, that I'm with my guys and we're going to go out and play against these guys down the street and carry those memories on. And because of the trickle-down effect, and I hope that it gets corrected at the college level so that it doesn't continue to come down to high school, which is all the moving around constantly of guys just collecting talent for a year and seeing if they can get them to play well together. And the next year you got to go collect another group of talented guys.
Super teams, right?
Super teams. Yeah. And I hope that doesn't trickle its way down into high school. I fear that it is. And look, transfers are always a part of there's not a private school anywhere whose building is not full from kindergarten through 12th grade of transfers because every one of those kids is zoned for a different school and they chose to come to this school. So I'm not saying that, transfers are evil and all that kind of stuff. We have our share of guys that come in and guys that leave. But when it becomes, can you collect this right now real quick and get it done this year and then start that over again next year, then you've lost developmental programs. And I like the idea of developing kids and cultures and things like that. So
almost like you're skipping steps on how to build camaraderie, how to build character, strong characteristics of
in the name of
teamwork.
success. It doesn't matter the culture as long as you have the record at the end of the year or the ring or the championship trophy. And that is just, it's a twisted version of what I remember it being. And so I hope that self-corrects, and I think it will. And look, high school sports are great, but it's been on my mind lately that I hope we don't get going too far down the line of super teams, like you said, and even at the high school level.
It's hard not to think about it when you are in the sports field, whether football or not football, right? Just because of what's going on so much with the college sports level, NIL, transfer portal, and they are NCAA and the new legislation group that is putting together all these, basically trying to structure what's going on for college sports. Hopefully they figure it out. Hopefully they have a strong team of people that are doing what's best for student athletes. Yeah. But I think the trickle down effect, that phrase is a great example of now we're starting to see the effects at the high school level. And I'm curious.
Well, and you see kids that are at the high school level now posting these, again, self-promotional, performative things on social media, that they go down this list of I was blessed at my previous school and want to thank all the people that contributed to my success there and taking my talents or I'm moving on to different, and they're just emulating what they see from the next level. And I think that's unfortunate because again, they're trying to professionalize what should be an amateur game. And they've turned it into a capitalist opportunity. Yeah. And look, again, I sound like the old man. It's just this is terrible.
We already said veteran coach. You sound like the veteran coach.
I hope that we can hang on to the amateur version of high school sports as long as possible. And then in a non-athletic thing, I picked up mahjong this summer.
Oh, okay, there you go.
My mother-in-law taught me how to play mahjong.
Okay,
with the tiles and
what is that
thing.
exactly?
It's the Chinese tiles, and if you play it on your phone, you just pick out the matching tiles. That's not mahjong. There's this whole idea where you have to draw and discard. So it's one of those kind of games. And based on what you have in your hand, you have to determine one of probably 30 different options for this winning hand. Yeah. And so it's a very strategic game. It's a thinking person's game. You got to be able to adjust and change based on who's playing what tile and when you have an opportunity to draw your own. It's mahjong. It's a fascinating game, and pick that up this summer.
Okay, there you go. Who knows? Maybe your mahjong skills will help you with
in the fourth quarter.
This season. Fourth quarter. Wait, strategy. Yes, I can see
maybe.
One more follow-up question, because I am curious with the domino effect at the high school level. Have you noticed with the new transfer portal rules in college? Have you noticed less scholarships for high school football athletes?
Absolutely. I think there's a couple things happening. Number one, there are less opportunities for high school players, and college coaches will tell us this when they come in. We're just not taking any high school linemen because we can go get guys who have been in somebody's system for a year or two and who've already grown in the physical sense. They've already matured into these bigger, stronger guys that are more ready to play for us when they come in. We're not going to take the 6'5", 260-pound high school lineman that we really need to be 285, and we can go down the street and get one who's already 285 and ready to play. So that they have to look out for their own self-interest and keep their jobs. So they need guys that they can plug and play a little more readily, because that's the nature of the sport right now. And the other thing is because people are getting paid more to stay in college than they would make to go professional, to say that they're not professional, they're staying in college. So those scholarship opportunities aren't opening up anymore. You don't get any of those guys that are foregoing their fifth year to enter the draft to see if they can make it. They're like, I can just stay here and make more money. Even the good ones. Yeah. I can stay here and make twice as much as I would make on my rookie contract in the first year.
Which is crazy.
That eliminates a scholarship opportunity for somebody down the line. That just gets pressed down. And so I do think high school guys have a different path. So we also talk to college guys and our own players about, if you get an opportunity to go play, take it. Take it. It doesn't matter if it's, a guy, people dream of playing in Power 4. So let's just take a kid who's a local kid. And I played at Vanderbilt. So I'm going to use Vanderbilt as the top line. So if a guy wants to play in the SEC and has an opportunity and wants to go to Vanderbilt, but then he doesn't get offered a scholarship necessarily at Vanderbilt. He might get a PWO at Vanderbilt. He might not get an offer anywhere at Vanderbilt, but he gets an offer from Austin P. If they want you, go play. Go play at Austin P. Play great. Be an all-conference guy at Austin P. And because of the nature of the sport now, you can parlay that into an opportunity to get in the transfer portal and go somewhere else different. And if you can't prove that you earned it then at least you still have the opportunity at Austin Peay to grow and develop and get your degree and play football and all that. So I think that path has changed for high school kids, and they need to like kind of rewire themselves to think any opportunity is a great opportunity. It doesn't have to be Power 5 or this conference or this school. It can be anywhere where I get to go play, put my film out there, grow and learn. And then if it works itself out, I can use that as a stepping stone to the next opportunity.
And that could be a huge benefit for a large group of athletes, not just football, but that mindset, reworking that mindset can be applied for all sports.
And a lot of the smaller college programs are using that mentality to say, hey, look, we'll take you and we'll develop you. And if you leave, all the same. I mean, you were a great player. I mean, you played well enough here to help us be successful to go somewhere else. So they're all adopting. And again, I don't know that it's what I would prescribe, but they're adopting the idea that it is a collection thing, not a development thing. So can I collect these guys and play well and not necessarily develop them?
Yeah.
So it's good and bad, but it's the world we live in. You can't go backwards now.
No, definitely full steam ahead,
That's
right?
That's right.
Just like full steam ahead of this high school football season. We're ready for it.
Here we go.
Yes. We have our Football Frenzy Live coming back. We will be the highlight show. So we will be at night, 9:30 for Fox 17. As always, we always have the Nashville Christian Eagles on there. So
you guys do a great job covering high school sports, and we appreciate it, especially football. We appreciate it.
We love our high school football, that's for sure. And loved covering you guys last year. Best of luck this season, Coach. And thanks again for coming on. I know it's such a busy time for you, so really appreciate your time.
No problem. Glad to be here again. Just really honored that you would ask me to be a part of it.
Of course. Yes, of course.
Good deal.
Thanks so much for listening to the Nashville Game Changers podcast. Be sure to tune in next week for our new episode. And also be sure to check us out on YouTube and social media. And when you're there, please like and subscribe.